All right, so here we have the Oikos Hammer. It's a little bit shortened, and we've added a question. So each person at the table will have this at their tables. Of course, the facilitator up front is going to need to write these verses on the left-hand side of the board, and then is going to have these questions across the top. Outside catalyst, who did God use, and who were their oikos? And so this is a field one module. Sphere of influence is basically oikos. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the first one with in front of the group, and so it's real simple. We would read Mark chapter 5, verse 15 through 20. We would ask, who's the outside catalyst? Who got this whole thing started? And this one is really easy. It was Jesus. He was the outside catalyst. Who did God use? He used the demon possessed man, right? And then who were their oikos? In this case, it was the Decapolis, the 10 cities. All right, so that one's really simple. And the rest really follow that same patterns. For instance, the Samaritan woman, real simple. They'll read it and they'll see kind of a cool pattern. Jesus, Samaritan woman, right? And who was her oikos? It was the town, the whole town she reached. And so, anyway, you're going to let each table do this. This should take really not that long because we've shortened it because you can see the pattern really, really quickly. Uh, and so this should take no more than 10 minutes, if that. And so you ask them to do this 10 minutes, and then at the tables to discuss what are their key takeaways or main points they saw. Okay, so you're going to ask them to do that 10, 12 minutes, maybe 12 minutes if we add in that question. So you come back and you basically go over each one of these and you fill them in. And then you ask, what did you guys learn at each of your tables? The key takeaway. It's kind of, again, all these modules, this is like a flash of the obvious, but the key takeaway was, or key pattern, maybe is a better way of saying, is that in every single one of these cases, there was a key outsider who got to a key insider who then got the gospel to a whole slew of relationships that were behind them. And so we see this key outsider reaching a key insider who then got the gospel to a large group of people. That's one of the key ways that the gospel flows in the New Testament and still does today. We hope that they identify that pattern. If you have time, you'll see on the back of this module, there are some key other related Oikos Hammer questions. And some of these we'll discuss later, but they are good thought-provoking questions. What are the biggest barriers to reaching our oikos? Boy, that's a great question, especially with people who've been Christians their whole life. And what do you do when no one in your oikos is open to the gospel? That's a reality that people have run into. Like, man, I've tried everything. And so these are some, and then lastly, and this relates to the first question, what are the dangers of significantly delaying sharing the gospel with our oikos? And so here is the oikos hammer, very straightforward. Everybody will have this. And so you're just facilitating them through the answers and their discovery at the end.